Sacramento Republic, congratulations for making it to the final. It's a really big deal. Enjoy it. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at your cup run, all right? So stay tuned. Guys, this is a pretty big deal. We normally don't see USL or USL Championships clubs make it to the US Open Cup final. Sacramento Republic have done it after actually beating several MLS teams and making it all the way to the final. Like I said, it's a big deal, and I mean, it's historic. Seriously, enjoy it. And guys, anyways, this is the American Foot Channel. Discuss all things MLS, American football, world football, anything around the globe. And go ahead and give us a follow if you like what you're seeing, and give this video a like. Give all my videos a like, guys. And let's get started. So, Sacramento Republic are actually a club that was founded in 2012, so 10 years ago, basically, now. And they've actually been a pretty successful club since their first season. These guys were breaking attendance records amongst other things in the USL, and I clearly remember. I remember this being a big deal when they made their home debut. It's a really big deal. They drew like about 20K, if I'm correct, in their first home match, and this was all over the football pages back then. They cover a sport. I mean, back then, now we see a lot of things like on Instagram and whatever and all that, but back then this was in some of the other pages, and it was a really big deal. And I mean, just for the fact that like a non-MLS team, a lower team made it, you know, was able to draw attendances like this, like that was crazy. That was really unheard of back then. And I mean, honestly, like even some of these MLS teams couldn't bring these type of numbers. So to see that like in a season opener was a huge deal, man. Republic, like I said, like always ahead of the curve, or at least they were early on in the championship, in the USL Championship days. It wasn't even USL Championship back then. They actually even did very well in their inaugural season. I'm sorry, so well that they actually won the USL Championship in the end, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy to do that in any league. It doesn't matter if it's USL, MLS, or whatever. But to win in your first season as a club, like your expansion season, that's a really big deal. And well, the Republic were able to do that, so that's really big. I mean, ever since then, they've been really successful, and they've been successful at the USL level, which is where they're still at. And after some time, the Republic even got an expansion slot for MLS, and they should be in a MLS. They probably should be either this year or next year. They should have been, but after a bunch of bullshit, honestly, with their owners and things that happened in the last couple of years with like the whole pandemic thing, and like I said, mostly the owner thing. I know that was a big thing. After all that, unfortunately, this didn't happen. They're not in MLS yet, and it's terrible. Honestly, I'm sorry for Sacramento fans. You guys deserve to be in MLS. I've been to a couple games. You guys know how to bring it. You guys really deserve it. You guys are very passionate about your team, and your team would only grow so much more if you're in MLS. And you guys should be in MLS. You deserve better, but things happen, unfortunately. But anyways, with all that happening, the Republic have still been able to make a fantastic run in the U.S. Open Cup this season. Really big deal, and it's very respectable to see from a USL team. We've been going on about the U.S. Open Cup, but for those of you that don't know, don't follow our football or too much football around the world, it's the equivalent to the FA Cup in England or La Copa del Rey in Spain. So it's a competition that teams from different divisions compete in, and this is actually, believe it or not, like the oldest or one of the oldest competitions, footballing competitions in the United States. And it has been, it's been a thing since 1914, which is insane. I mean, it literally predates like any team that exists right now in the U.S. soccer pyramid, whether it's USL or MLS teams. I mean, U Open Cup has been around forever, and it's really impressive that this thing still exists, and it's exciting to see it. I watch the games as much as I can, and I mean, if you're wondering, like I said, this is in 1914. If you're wondering who played in this before MLS and USL teams existed, it was actually a lot of the old American Soccer League teams, which is the league way back in the day. You guys should do some research on that. Can't really go into that too much right now, but it was those type of teams, old NASL teams, like Cosmos with Pele and Fort Lauderdale, teams like that, and even amateur teams at one point, and still somewhat compete. We get semi-pros teams in it. But yeah, amateur teams. So basically, teams from everywhere and every time period in U.S. soccer have competed in this competition, which it's a really big deal. It's a historic competition, and there's a lot of fascinating history behind this, and I love history and I love football, especially in our country here because it's a little weird here, but I still love it. But one day I may make a video on the history of the U.S. Open Cup. But today we're going to concentrate on Sacramento. So we're not going to go too much into history, but we're going to look at Sacktown. So the Republic actually started their U.S. Open Cup campaign against the Portland Timbers U23 in the second round of the competition, which is where the USL Championship teams came in. They actually beat them 6-0, so it's a pretty easy win for Sacktown. And then they advanced, and they came to play the Central Valley Fuego Football Club, who are actually a new club in USL League One, that is the third tier. And they're basically there to fill the void that Fresno FC from the USL Championship left, and before them the Fresno Fuego, which was also part of the USL back in the days. A little confusing with all that kind of stuff, but yeah, they left that part of California, and this team is now there. Anyways, it was a battle between two Californian clubs, and the Sacramento Republic actually got the 2-1 win in stoppage time, with a Rodrigo Lopez penalty kick. Versus He scored this versus the Central Valley Fuego Football Club, which is really a mouthful, by the way. But hey, it's an interesting name and not another cookie cutter FC or United name, and I'm okay with that. I like that. Next up, they faced the Phoenix Rising, also from the USL Championship, so same league as the Sacramento Republic. Now, Phoenix are actually one of the top teams in the USL, one of the top dogs, and they were for sure going to be the biggest test up to this point for Sacramento. It was never going to be an easy win, but Sacramento got that W, and they advanced after their 2-0 win against a team from Arizona. Now, the next challenge was even a bigger challenge, at least on paper, because this team has definitely not very good playing this season. Guys, that team they were my San Jose Earthquakes, my team. My Earthquakes had just come from beating Seattle Sounders in Seattle, actually, and we really had hopes that we were gonna win this competition. We really thought we could, and I mean, just do good in the competition. We thought at least that. We actually really thought we could win this at some point. After all, we beat the Sounders, who love winning this competition. Seattle did have a lot of their starters out in that game, but it was still Seattle, and they're always tough. So after we won, we thought to ourselves, I know a couple of us did. We're like, no way a USL team's gonna beat us. Which I don't like to underestimate USL teams because I like those teams. I like that our sport's growing. But I was like, we beat Seattle, we could beat this team. We could be a USL team, which we knew was gonna be Sacramento. Well, we were damn wrong, dude. And many fans actually made their way from San Jose, all the way to Sacramento for this match, which is only like 2 hours away, which is a short distance between clubs here. I know other countries there's teams that are like almost right next door to each other, but here's a little different. But anyways, a lot of fans made that trip with the illusion that we were going to beat Sacramento in advance and go to the next round and hopefully make it to the U.S. Open Cup final. But like I said, Sacramento won this, and San Jose were terrible, and Sacramento won this deservingly so. They totally deserved it. And next to Sacramento, I mean, like they beat us, so next they weren't happy with just beating the biggest team in Northern California. They also they wanted all California for themselves, really. And what were they going to do? They were going to go down to SoCal and beat the Los Angeles Galaxy down there in SoCal, therefore eliminating the biggest team in SoCal as well, and eliminating probably the two biggest teams in terms of history in California. Guys, and then next was a game where Sacramento made history versus Sporting Kansas City. This match, the regular match, went 0-0 in regular and extra time. Nothing too crazy, right? But the craziness occurred in the penalty shootout, where it was like standard shootout at first, decent penalties. It was 2-2. Then the Sacramento Republic goalkeeper, Danny Vitello, made a big save. Really big save. But he was off the line, and the penalty had to be retaken. And this time the Sporting KC player was able to put it away, negating that save, negating everything. So Here we are, 3-2. And then after that, a couple penalties after that, actually, Malik Foster scores just about the cleanest, and I mean cleanest Panenka you will ever see. I mean, I literally screamed when I saw that. Like, that was insane. Insane. And then afterwards, Mexico's hero and god, Graham Suzy, or San Suzy as they call him over there, has his attempt blocked by the goalkeeper, who makes this save. And this one counts. This one actually counted. He didn't step off his line. He made a good save. And just after that, Sacramento needed one more goal. One more. And who was to take it? Their skipper, Rodrigo Lopez. And what does he do? Rodrigo Lopez puts it away and sends them through the U.S. Open Cup final. Now, Sacramento have to go and play the final in Orlando City versus Orlando City. And I think I'm speaking for most U.S. football fans in the United States when I say that I want Sacramento to win this thing. You know, they might be our Northern Cali rivals as Earthquakes fans, but I want them to win this thing. Orlando have actually been a little inconsistent this season, so I think that Sacramento has a solid chance. I think Orlando's about the same level as Galaxy at this point. And I really think they have a chance to upset Orlando, because it would still be an upset. No matter what Sacramento's done, they're still a USL team. So I think it would be an upset. And it would be a really big deal, especially now, especially in modern U.S. soccer as it is now. Because we've seen a lower division team win this competition before. That was in 1999, actually, when the Rochester Raging Rhinos of the A-League beat the Colorado Rapids in the final. I mean, that's the last time this happened, and the only time, in 1999, man. And don't forget also that the winner of this competition gets a spot in next year's CONCACAF Champions League, which is, that would be insane. That would be absolutely insane to get a USL team in the CONCACAF Champions League. We've seen lower division teams do it before, with like the Montreal Impact back in the day before they were in MLS. Sorry, but it would be a big deal to see USL team. I don't know how they would fare in there because they can't really reinforce themselves like MLS teams can, in terms of squad depth. It'd still be interesting. Why the heck not, dude? Why not? They could do it. Sacramento, you can do this. But anyways, guys, like I was saying, like Sacramento, they're in the final. Can they win this? Can the Republic win this and make history? Well, we're gonna have to see, you guys. But anyways, you guys can leave your opinions. You could whatever you think, your predictions of the final down in the comments. And don't forget to follow for more content. And don't forget to like this video, by the way. And y'all have a good one.